Was Queen Celine's life hanging in the balance? The royal family faces a crisis that threatens to tear them apart. Meanwhile, at the ice wall, danger emerges from the frozen wastelands, drawing closer to the kingdom. Will the king heed the warnings, or will he be too late? Find out in the Game of Kingdoms, Episode 5. Previously on the Game of Kingdoms, Queen Celine was poisoned, leaving the royal family scrambling for a solution. As Lauren raced against time to save his wife, his daughter, Elena, ventured into the far lands seeking aid from the dragon tribe. Meanwhile, at the ice wall, the commander grew increasingly alarmed by the strange happenings in the frozen north. Now, was the fate of the kingdom hanging in the balance? A new set of challenges and revelations awaited our heroes. In the heart of the capital, King Lauren paced anxiously in his chamber, his steps echoing the urgency in his heart. A sealed letter lay on the table, its contents a heavy burden on his mind. Was Queen Celine's life hanging in the balance? He needed answers, and this letter held the key. Meanwhile, in the bustling training yard of the capital, Prince Adrien dueled with the night before an audience of nobles. Adrien was known for his skill in combat, but today there was a disturbing edge to his movements. As the young prince fought, a sinister smile played on his lips, revealing a chilling lack of remorse. Despite the knight's pleas to yield, Adrien pressed his attack, striking a fatal blow. The crowd gasped at the sight of the fallen knight, his life extinguished. Adrien stood over his opponent, savoring the moment, his eyes gleaming with cruel triumph. This display of callousness did not go unnoticed. Lauren watched with a mixture of anger and sadness, recognizing in Adrien's actions a dangerous disregard for life. The king felt a growing unease, sensing that his son's behavior was not merely a product of youthful arrogance, but something more sinister. Far to the north, Lauren's eldest son sat in the great hall of the ice fortress, his face etched with determination. Outside, the winds of discontent howled, mirroring the turmoil brewing within the hall. Northern lords argued vehemently, challenging the young prince's authority. They questioned his ability to lead, casting doubt on his legitimacy. But the young prince remained resolute, his gaze unwavering. He understood that this was not merely a test of his strengths, but a trial of his leadership. Was the weight of his father's legacy and the fate of the North resting on his shoulders, he stood firm, ready to prove himself. As the debate intensified, one of the lords, his face twisted with malice, approached the young prince, his words dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, so the boy king wants to play the hero. Very well. Let him show us his skills. Let him prove he's worthy of the North." The hall erupted in cheers, their voices echoing the challenge. The young prince, his jaw set, accepted the test. He knew what they wanted, a display of strengths, a reminder of his father's prowess, and he was more than willing to oblige. At that moment, the sound of clanking steel filled the air as the young prince drew his sword, its polished surface gleaming under the flickering torchlight. With a warrior's grace, he moved, parrying and thrusting, his blade dancing a deadly ballet. The lord, taken aback by the prince's skill, stumbled back, his earlier bravado fading. The hall fell silent, the cheers replaced by gasps of surprise. The young prince, his face now set in grim determination, turned to the rest of the lords. His voice, though soft, carried the weight of command. You challenge my rule, yet fail to see your own weakness. Today you test my sword, but tomorrow you may need my shield. The lords, humbled by the prince's display of skill and maturity, nodded in acknowledgement. They had challenged him, but in doing so, they had also witnessed his strengths. The hall echoed with murmurs of respect and admiration as the young prince, having proven himself, reclaimed his position. The test was over, but the journey of his leadership had just begun. Meanwhile, deep in the far lands, Ellen the dragon strode confidently into a tribal feast, her presence commanding attention. Her steps were sure, her posture regal. She wore a magnificent tribal armor, each scale meticulously crafted, a testament to the skills of the tribe's artisans. The armor glistened under the flickering light of torches, transforming her into a mesmerizing sight, half human, half dragon. As she entered, the warriors, adorned in their finest battle garb, roared their approval. Their voices echoed through the hall, creating an atmosphere charged with energy. Elena, meeting their gaze, returned their fervor with a smile. She raised her hands, her voice ringing with power. Warriors of the far lands, I have come seeking your aid. I am no stranger to fire or blood. With me, the tribe will rise beyond the seas. Her words, a blend of strength and promise, resonated with the assembled warriors. They pounded their weapons on the ground, their rhythmic beats echoing her call to action. The hall shook with their fervor as Elena, basking in their enthusiasm, knew that she had captured their attention. Her journey was far from easy, but with the tribe's formidable strengths on her side, she felt a surge of confidence. Their combined might would be a force to be reckoned with, ready to face any challenge. Back at the ice wall, the commander stood at the top of the Raven Tower, his gaze fixed on the horizon. The wind whipped around him, carrying with it the chill of the frozen wastelands. In his hands, he clutched a raven, its feathers ruffled, its eyes wide with urgency. The creature, a messenger from a distant outpost, had brought troubling news. The scouts, dispatched to investigate the strange happenings in the north, had vanished without a trace. He turned to the guard at his side, his voice grave. We must send ravens to the capital. The scouts are missing. The wall is in danger. The guard, understanding the gravity of the situation, rushed to carry out the commander's orders. Moments later, a flurry of wings beat against the frigid air as several ravens took flight, their cries echoing the urgency of their mission. They soared into the vast expanse of the sky, racing against time to deliver their message. As the ravens departed, the commander's gaze returned to the horizon. A deep sense of foreboding settled over him, clouding his thoughts with worry. The scout's disappearance was a troubling sign, hinting at a danger that lurked beyond the wall. Yet he couldn't shake off a nagging doubt. Would the capital believe his warnings? The thought of the kingdom dismissing his reports as unfounded alarms gnawed at him. He had seen the horrors that lay beyond the ice, and he knew firsthand the danger they posed. But convincing others of this looming threat had proven to be an uphill battle. In the past, his warnings of a shadow gathering in the frozen north had been met with skepticism. Hadn't his predecessors also sounded the alarm, only to be ignored? Was he destined to suffer the same fate? The commander, wrestling with these thoughts, clenched his fists, his determination hardening his features. He would not be deterred. The safety of the kingdom was too crucial to allow doubt to take root. Suddenly, a guard rushed into the tower, his face drained of color, his breath coming in ragged gasps. "Commander," he stammered, his voice tight with fear. "The other scouts, they found them. It's as you feared. The snow, it hides their bodies." The commander, his heart sinking, felt a chill grip his soul. The confirmation of his fears sent a wave of dread through him. The danger he had anticipated had materialized, and as he looked out at the frozen landscape, he knew that the battle for the kingdom's survival was just beginning. As the screen faded to black, the words "a shadow beyond the wall moves closer" sent a shiver down the spines of those watching. The game of kingdoms had taken a perilous turn. And that's all for today's episode. If you enjoyed this thrilling installment, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more epic tales. Your support means everything to us. Until next time, stay safe and keep adventuring. Thank you for watching and see you soon.